Hey all, it's Marcus, your Asian tennis boy, and welcome to another video of Tennis on Tour. We'll be featuring two cities, Wuhan and Guangzhou. First up is the city of Wuhan. I managed to find this beautiful golf club near my hotel that also had two very spacious tennis courts and a decent surface. I loved the fact that these courts also had a wall where I was able to do my own self-practice. As usual, if you're interested in the location of these courts, I've written them down in the video description down below. The next court I found was this tennis club. If you're wondering how I managed to find tennis courts in China, I mostly search on 高德地图 or A-map in English, as the locations are more updated compared to Google Maps. I would look for locations with the phone numbers and try adding them on WeChat to inquire more. I ended up hiring a coach to be my hitting partner. The fees in Wuhan were pretty reasonable. My coach is a full-time student studying physical education and majored in tennis, so I was able to have good rallies, and we also managed to play a set which went down to the wire, and I managed to close with a winner. I came back here again for another coaching session. This time we didn't play a match, but instead rallied, and I wanted to work on my second serves. There was only so much you could do in the span of a lesson. I think for serves, you really just gotta put in the hours. Bring a bag or a bucket of balls and just keep working on them to see improvement. On my last day in Wuhan, I found myself back at a wall as I was trying to get back my rhythm of playing tennis after a 4-week break. Next, we head over to the city of Guangzhou. Guangzhou is considered one of the biggest cities in China, so I managed to find a compound dedicated to tennis. These courts have an affiliation with a school or vice versa, where coaches who teach under the school get preferential rates for court bookings. They have a total of 14 courts here, which is really sizable, but not all courts are made equal, which you will see later. Anyhow, this whole place is pretty well built, with adequate space at the back and sides, sufficient lighting, and some courts also had fences to separate one court from another. The coaching fees here are pretty steep, almost twice what I paid in Wuhan, and that's probably because of the differing cost of living here in Guangzhou, which is considered a Tier 1 city. As you can see, these courts aren't the prettiest. In fact, it's rather beat up with cracks down the middle and mold on the right side of the court. I got to squeeze in a set during the session, and here are some of the highlights. I came back here again for another session, this time focusing on drills to work on my backhand, going cross-court and down the line. I remember that during this session, I was feeling quite confident with my strokes and was able to make adjustments to improve on my timing and control. Somehow, I'm not able to translate these into match play even today, but I'm working on it. Outside the courts, there were a few tennis shops, and I snapped a picture of their price list of restringing services in case you're curious. I managed to find another court in Guangzhou. This time it's an indoor court, and although the quality of courts weren't as good as at Tianhe, the shade really helped a lot. The downsides of playing indoors is that it traps heat and can get pretty stuffy. And for this court, there was glare from the indoor lighting and from the sun from outside that seeped through the windows and holes of the building. Once again, full address of all the court locations found in the description down below. Before I conclude, I'd like to give a shout out to ASICS for supporting my tennis journey. I've been a firm believer of the tennis shoes ever since I tried them for the first time, and they also have really comfortable clothes as well. That's all for today's episode, and I'll leave you with the most amazing serve you'll ever see. Enjoy!